Welcome survivors, this is Luthais, and today I am going to be starting with the first part of my in-depth survival guide, where I teach you everything you need to know about the user interface in Miscreated. Now, right at the start, what you want to do is you want to click right at the top, enter your player name, and then choose whether you're going to be a male or a female. Now, one note is that you do not have any advantage by being a female, not in the looks department and also not on the hit detection department. So please guys, if you're a male, please be a male, and if you're a female, please be a female. There's nothing worse than encountering a female in this immersive game and then hearing a male's voice. Then you can always go look at the newest patch notes, which they are busy with on a constant basis. And talking about patch notes, I'm very excited to announce that Miscreated 1.0 beta is coming out, and at the end of this video I will give you a few clips just to give you a sneak peek at what is coming. And of course, that is just the tip of the mountain. There are still a lot of things that they're going to be adding to the game, which I'm really excited about. Now, the most important thing here is going to be the settings, guys. If you've got a really slow computer, I suggest putting down your resolution to somewhere where you are happy. But normally, you should just put it at the resolution that your monitor is at. On the Windows settings, you've got three options: window full screen and full screen windowed. And full screen will of course give you the best performance, but if you've got more than one screen, then choose full screen windowed or windowed. At the max FPS, I always leave mine to unlocked, and I enable virtual sync not to get screen tearing. Again, if you're experiencing a lot of lag and you don't mind 30 FPS, then just set this to 30 FPS with the virtual sync on, and the result isn't that bad. Okay, but because I'm recording and I'm going to be upscaling this to 4K, I need the 60 FPS. The field of view basically starts at 55 and I put it to 65. The reasons for this is that you can't see your whole character in third person view, and yes, I like to see everything I'm wearing, but of course 55 is the most realistic field of view when it comes to first person viewing and aiming down the sights. If you want to put it to 80, it's fine. It's going to give you a big advantage to see everyone around you at a distance. So if you love camping, 80 is definitely an option. Brightness, you're going to start at 100. I've set mine to 125 because YouTube darkens the videos a bit, and I've gotten used to it. So you guys can try it out and see how it works for you. On the UI scaling, you're going to start with 100, but again, the UI, your inventory screen is going to be a bit big and you're going to lose a bit of detail on what you're seeing. So 90, in my experience, is the best setting there. Now, where you're going to be struggling is trying to find a happy medium with all of these settings. Okay, but looking at my settings at the moment, I can tell you guys exactly what has got a big impact on your system and what does not. First of all, the anti-aliasing mode does have about a medium impact on your system performance, but what anti-aliasing mode basically does is just smooths out the edges. So if you don't mind the jaggy edges, you can definitely put this down. But I like to leave mine on 1TX. There is a 2TX option, but it blurs the edges a bit too much for me. So 1TX is the best for me. Shading, of course, helps a lot with what you're seeing and how beautiful everything looks. But shading has got a massive impact on your system. Alright, so that's why I always leave that to low. And shading basically just helps to not let everything look so washed out. You know, it gives everything a bit more depth. Shadows, of course, just smooths out the edges of your shadows. And since it doesn't really bother me, I put that down to low because it's also got about a medium impact. Textures, of course, is very important. That's basically going to be all the textures that you see on the vehicles, on your character, on the houses. So the higher you set this, the better everything looks. But the system performance does get affected by this. So yes, this is one you're going to have to play with until you're happy with the frames that you're getting. Game effects is resetting at the moment. Hopefully in 1.0 beta they will fix it. So, but I like to set this on medium or high, but at the moment it's just resetting every time I restart the game, so I'm just leaving it on low. Object detail again is very important. It's the quality of the trees and the rocks, and of course the inventory items that you pick up in the world. So yes, I set this to medium, and that's up to you as well. And then particles is basically the effects like fire and smoke and different movable animations like fire and the flash of your gun. So because I'm trying to give you guys the best quality together with the best performance, medium is what I'm happy with at the moment. Post-processing is basically just like post-processing when you editing photos. So every frame, it does some post-processing beforehand, before it gives you the frame, and it loads it onto a buffer on your graphics card. But that is going to put some extra strain on your graphics card. So I usually set this to low. And the other thing it does is when you're walking into dark areas and light areas, it takes a time, like in real life, for your eyes to adjust to the lighting. And that's going to be detrimental to you in a PvP situation. Water looks just fine to me. If you've got a beefed up system, you can set all these settings to very high and see what happens. But again, water, not that much of a difference, so I'm not very bothered about that. Now, the most important thing here is viewing distance. Now, I always played with this on very low, but again, to help with the guides and to show you guys exactly how beautiful the world looks, I've put this to maximum. And what this basically does is if you put it to the lower setting, then you're going to have like a white bloom effect in the distance, which is basically going to block out everything you can see in the distance. So the lower you put this, the less you will be able to see. Like when you stand on a mountain and you try and look down the island, you're going to be seeing less and less. And of course, at a certain point, some items cut out, like mutants and rocks and hills and stuff like that. But again, it does affect your performance, so also try and get a happy medium there. I always played on 4000, which I was happy with, but the maximum view distance really helps you to see in the distance and plan your routes. Makes it a bit easier navigating the map, especially when you're standing on top of a mountain. Motion blur, I don't think I need to explain that, guys. When you move around, it blurs the screen like in real life, but a lot of people don't like that, so I leave that off. Lens flare gives you a nice flare from the sun, makes it a bit more realistic. But again, in PvP situations, you don't want the sun in your eyes, you know, when the other guy's trying to shoot at you. And then tessellation gives you depth to certain textures in the world. Okay, and you can always see tessellation when you look at the quad's tires. If you ever get a quad, then you will see the depth. But basically, guys, tessellation just gives you depth, but it does have a bit of effect on the system, and it doesn't make a major difference to my recording quality, so I'm leaving that off. But yes, guys, you can always, these three you want to play with: textures, object detail, and particles. That's going to give you the best gaming experience when you're playing the game. And of course, when they fix game effects, you can play around with that as well. So yes, for the best experience, leave the anti-aliasing mode to 1tx and then put your shading and shadows off if you're experiencing frame drops. And then these are the four that you can play around with: textures, game effects, object detail, and particles, because that's going to give you the best visual effect on the game. And those four are the most important. Moving up, the music volume is basically just to set the music volume when you're not in game, and the effects volume is everything you hear in game, which I would suggest basically no. definitely put this to 100%, because the ambience of this game and the Cryengine's graphics is the thing that immerses you the most. Okay? So, definitely in a PvP situation, your effects volume is going to determine whether you can hear someone sneaking up on you or various sounds around you. So yes, please guys, for survival, put this to max. Controls, you can set your mouse sensitivity. If you've got an Xbox pad, you can set that sensitivity. And then aim zoom sensitivity is when you're aiming down the sights. You can change your sensitivity there until you're happy. Camera speed is just what it says. Invert mouse, I don't know why anyone would use that, but you can invert your mouse if you want. Toggle zoom aim is basically, at the moment you have to hold in your right mouse button to aim. So if you want to make it so that it is more like PlayerUnknown, where you just click to aim down the sights, you know, and then right click again to disengage the sights, it's up to you. And then again, yes, sprint, if you just want to, you know, keep on sprinting, you can do that. Key binding is very important, guys. And yes, to end this first in-depth guide, please do as much research on these keys as you can. Miscreated is a very, very deep game with a lot of options. And yes, you don't want to get to a vehicle and not exactly know what all the buttons do. And then emotes are very important again for interaction with other people. So studying these interactions will help you a lot. You know, if the guy tells you to put your hands up, you want to be able to put your hands up, because maybe you take too long and he just shoots you. And if you want to be friendly, you know, F3 is basically to wave. And then you've got your middle finger and a lot of things you can do to enhance your playing experience. And then again, guys, if you're playing different games, please set these keyboard functions and the mouse functions so that it's the same as your other games, okay? Especially with crouching and proning and stuff like that. And then yes, when you join a server, first of all, you're going to be introduced to all the official servers, which has basically got a country for everyone, even for small people like us in South Africa. And then on all servers, you're going to get the official servers and the privately owned servers, which include whitelisted servers, role-playing servers, servers with permanent daytime, and active administrators, which tries to make it more fun for their community. So yes, there's a server for everyone's needs, guys. Then there's a history tab, basically keeping a track of all the servers you've been playing on. And then you've got favorites. So just for an example, if I want to make Joburg 1 my favorite, I click on favorites, and when I go to favorites, it will always be there to help you navigate it better. And of course, if you've got friends on certain servers, you know, you'll probably see it here. I haven't used it yet, so if it works, please let me know down in the comments below. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and yes, I'm very excited about the 1.0 beta release. And yes, if you want to see sneak peeks, you know, just stay a bit longer after the outro. And yes, if you want to see more content like this, and you'd like to learn everything there is to learn about Miscreated, please click that subscribe button, and then just click the bell button so that you're notified of future uploads. And if you want to do me a favor, guys, then just share this with your friends and family, because we want this game to be as popular as we know it can be. So please help the cause and introduce as many people to this game as you can. And then of course, yes, my videos will be here to help them learn the basics and not to rage quit with any difficulties, since this is a very realistic survival game. Well guys, I hope you have a great day, and see you next time in the next episode of my in-depth survival series. Cheers.